Alright guys, we're going to look at my junk I bought this past month. Some comics, cassettes, and vinyl, and offbeat stuff. So, right off the bat, Goodwills are just so wonderful. They got a new Goodwill. They gave them a new building over in a town about 20 minutes away. Went from a small building to a bigger building. And apparently, they put out stuff every hour. So, I about fell down when I heard that, because seriously, the junk I buy and enjoy, and I say junk lovingly and stuff, it's cheaper for me to get this stuff than it is for me to go out and eat for a night. I can get more stuff. Case in point, this right here, I have, it's more or less like I bought a box set of Led Zeppelin albums. These are the cassettes. All but one. I'm missing Led Zeppelin 3, I believe, which, I was like, well, of all the great Led Zeppelin albums, Led Zeppelin 3, maybe it was 2, I don't know. Yep, Led Zeppelin 3, right? These were 35 cents a piece. For $3.50, I now have tons and tons of Led Zeppelin. Even have the soundtrack for The Song Remains the Same. I think that's part 1. I think there was 2 parts to this, and there were, and I have them both. So, great stuff. And whoever was collecting these, I mean, he stepped, he's a kindred spirit and stuff, because he did what I do. When he was buying these, he would fold up the receipt and keep them, and these are almost every one of them. He kept the receipts in them, and it kind of made it weird to buy this after I got home and started looking through it, man. I know that feeling, But he bought these over the course of a year. This one's dated 10/12/90, and there's it's like every payday. There's another one, I think it said like 10/29/90, and it goes all the way back to like February of 90. But he bought these, man. Like this one was 10/64. It's almost like every payday he went and got him a Led Zeppelin cassette. So that was kind of cool, knowing where these are from. One owner took care of his stuff. I do this with my DVDs and comic book orders and stuff. I always keep the receipts and stuff, so I know when I bought them and stuff and all that stuff. And even have coda and presents, and I think, and then houses of the holy and all that stuff. But I figured why not buy those and have the whole set. All right, and then I also got this, which I just exploded out of my hand as I did this. And it blows my mind that, considering my generation and everything like that, that I never really owned this on CD or anything. I have I have some of their other albums and stuff on CD and stuff. Ended up getting Nirvana, Nevermind on cassette. I can sing almost every song on the word. When Nirvana came out, it was kind of weird because I was a metal guy and Motown guy, classic rock guy. And then Nirvana came out, and I remember the summer that video came on MTV, I was walking across the living room. I think I was getting ready to graduate or just graduated, and was going to be out the door for the close to the final time and stuff. And I remember the video playing. I heard the song, and I'm like, cool. He screams and then he whispers. That's genius. Maybe there'll be something. I had no idea. Found this CD. I might have shown this one. There's two, 3 things in here I might be re-showing. I don't know if they're in the stack, but Mazzy Star was a band that I loved. And had a lead singer named Hope, and just loved their songs like Blue Flower, Hayla. You just very slow, mellow tunes, just laid back, and then her voice, you just close your eyes, and there's times where it was just like this pretty girl singing you to sleep like a lullaby and stuff, but she was saying things, and all this stuff. Well, I can't believe I found this. She came out in 2001. With some solo out. Well, she came out with a couple solo albums and stuff, little band she did and stuff. And this is Hope in the Warm Interventions, Havarian Fruit Bread. I've never seen this. I've heard of this. This is probably loaded up on YouTube, and I should have looked at it. But it was very cool to find that. If you're a Mazzy Star fan, you'll probably like that. We got down to the VHSs now, right? And, got these at the Goodwill. The epitome of the 90s to go along with the Nirvana tape. 92 Cameron Crowe singles. I am a huge fan of... can't believe I just went blank. Oh, I hate it when I do this in here and stuff. Man, what's his name? Matt Dillon. Yeah, huge fan of Matt Dillon since I was a kid. It's kind of like when I started watching movies and retaining them and stuff. You know, Matt Dillon was always there. You know, Outsiders, Bodyguard. What was the other one? Something about the Edge and all that stuff. You know, and then he was in Singles and stuff. And you know, when he was Dallas in The Outsiders, man, that's Matt Dillon. You know, the guy to me was a legit guy. I got some Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds. I watched this the other night. Holds up. I cannot tell you why that's interesting. I mean, it's just a good movie, you know. Then I got me some 80s B-movie stuff. This is Gore. And I did watch this back in the day. It's so cool it's on it, man. But it's got, man. Lazy Sunday's getting me, man. It's got Oliver Reed in it, you know. And Oliver Reed apparently, you know, used to be a huge actor. And he's probably still is huge with some people and stuff, but dude was in Tommy by The Who. That's where I always know Oliver Reed from, man. And apparently this guy was like the rock star of actors and stuff. Partied, drunk, would drink and everything like that, and just I think kind of damaged his reputation a little bit to where he ended up doing Gore, you know. So can't wait to watch that. It's the kind of movie you go to bed and you put it in the VCR and you watch it, fall asleep to. Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 3, I think I found this at some kind of church sale or something. I was like, oh, why not? It's there, you know. It used to be my favorite Friday Nightmare on Elm Street movie. The Dream Warriors. Even had Doc and, you know, doing a song with a video with Freddie in it back in the day and stuff. Patricia Arquette and Lawrence Fishburne's in it and stuff. And I think Eric Stoltz or somebody was in it. That doesn't sound right. It's directed by the guy that does The Mask, and that's probably what I was thinking. And this was the, you know, this was the one where, like, you know, he had some people who were, like, taking a hold of their dreams and fighting. They're making their dreams come true. They had powers or something, and Freddy still messed them up. I watched it the other night, and it's so funny. So funny. Now, I have this on DVD. I have part 2 on DVD. And I love the song. To me, it's one of the best songs that came out of the 80s. I'm not ashamed to say it and all this stuff. But when I saw this VHS tape, man, I don't know if it was nostalgia. I don't know if it's the colors. I don't know what it was. When I saw it, it's like the epitome of the feeling of my childhood there. You know, I have 2 childhoods, the 70s and then the 80s and stuff. 2 different worlds. Just the way I remember things. And when I saw this, man, it just makes me just so at peace. You know, I keep it around. Yeah, that's funny and all this stuff. But, you know, the never-ending story. Tell me that isn't beautiful. Look at those indigos. That kid on the Luck Dragon. The colors, the clouds, just, I don't know. For some reason I see this, and I'm just like, oh. So yeah, I had to buy it. And it's in a fantastic clamshell. A few dits and dings and stuff like that, but it's not discolored. You know, and they even kept the, apparently this is probably from the early 90s, a re-release or something, because they kept the stuff that came in it for the Warner Brothers releases, and if you get a free Warner Home Video catalog if you send in that reply card and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's the Animaniacs, so they'll tell you when this came out and stuff. There's just all kinds of great stuff. Their movies and their Batman movie that came out, Mask of the Phantasm. So yeah, it had all the original stuff. I love when people take care of their stuff and keep all the original things. So yeah, I mean, I'm just going to keep this out. I think this is just so cool, you know. What can I say? Alright, and then went to a bookstore last weekend. Went to Winston-Salem last weekend with 2 friends, and they took me to the store where you can get a bunch of, they're nothing but used DVDs, used books, used vinyl, and all that stuff. And I picked up some stuff I'll show you here, but I went ahead and got this. Second time I've owned it, Star Wars: The Clone Wars. I don't know. These cartoons are wonderful. They're better than this, you know, the 3 movies that came out. You know, Revenge of the Sith, Clone Wars, and Phantom Menace. And these cartoons, I was so skeptical. When I heard it was the guy that does Dexter's Laboratory, I'm like, what? And then you hear they're going to be 3 minutes long or something, and I'm like, what? So I sit there and I watched it, and I'm like, okay. And I remember I was at my in-laws' house, and I was still married and stuff, and I watched the first one, I'm like, oh my god, that's fantastic. You know, so I love these little cartoons of Star Wars. Alright, so we'll just go into the comics here. And I know that's why you started up. Now, everybody knows you watch my videos, I buy on the cheap. I do. I mean, I think it's ridiculous to pay full price even for a new book that comes out. You can find it discounted for 15% or something. And I usually wait. I'm very patient, and honestly, there's not a lot of books coming out that I'm really into right now. But this, I had to get this, man. Jeff Johns' pre-52 Green Lantern run was classic. I mean, Sinestro War, Blackest Night, closest thing you come to a perfect run when, you know, of a vision, you know, with a stable of artists and stuff. Just that they hit that sweet spot, and it's just a great run. You know, the book is building on itself. It's building momentum. He had a plan from issue 1, and you got to know Hal Jordan back. You got to know him all over again, and he had a few adventures, and you can see how he's different and how the DC world was different since, you know, he wasn't a Green Lantern, and, you know, touched on a few things. And then he started building the Sinestro Corps, and then he started prophesizing the Blackest Night was coming, and just built up to all that, and it was just fantastic. So this was his last issue. This thing is, I mean, it goes beyond. It's triple sized. Okay, it's got a spine on it. It's you know, a little bit of a cardboard like, you know, stock of the cover, and it's just full of story and everything like that. And not bad for a DC 52 book, considering they don't go anywhere nowadays. And this was $7.99 when it came out 2-3 months ago. I got it for $1. So it was, you know, Jeff Johns' swan song, finishing off his Green Lantern run. And I believe, I flipped through it and stuff, and I believe that this thing finishes up Blackest Night. Necron pops back up. You know, I know there's people that's read it. You know, that's why I'm not getting into it. Got this for $1. And yeah, it's got a little crease in it, but you know, it's the first appearance of the Crime Syndicate, kicking off Forever Evil in the DC 52. So I was glad to get that. You know, to get a Justice League book that books for $3.99, that's pretty good, man. So that last page there is just phenomenal. I'm a big Crime Syndicate guy. I'm a Black Adam guy, Crime Syndicate guy, Dr. Doom guy. I like the bad guys. Okay. And these two books I might have already shown. I think I got these for $1. This is back in the 90s, DC 1 Million. And the reason I got this is Cronus. I can't tell you the first thing about him. He had a short run of books. I think time traveled or something. The reason I got this is early J.H. Williams art. You know, and it really amazes me how a lot of his earlier work looks like Tony Harris, who did Starman and Ex Machina, and you know, Liberty Files, the JSA stuff. You know. So, yeah, I mean, it's very cool to see some early J.H. Williams work, considering now, you know, he's hot thanks to Batwoman, and he's doing the new Sandman book, Overture with Neil Gaiman. And just filling up my run, I was talking about Jeff Johns' run. You know, I'm really close to having all of them, and I just kind of needed this one, number 27. And it seems like there was something important in this, man. It's got a Sinestro Corps War story in it or something, but it seems like this was the first appearance of somebody or something. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe I'm just, you know. You read a lot of Green Lantern, man, and they all kind of mesh together sometimes. And I was thinking about that comic book store in a previous video where I went down and he had a box of 6 books for $10 and stuff. And I wasn't really going to buy anything off of them. If you see my Howler blog number 3 that I shot right before I did this, you know, you can kind of hear what kind of guy I used to deal with. But I couldn't pass these up, man. Filled up a bunch of my Goon stuff. I did end up getting 2 issues I've already had, but I love my Eric Powell Goon. See if we can get that to come in. Love that cover, man. They've ink washed it or airbrushed it or something to where it looks, you know, almost photorealistic. You know, 43. Then I didn't have these, you know. Here's go backwards. Here's 39, where Eric Larson is making his statement about DC Comics and Marvel Comics and how indie comics need a lot more attention. Yeah, this one was dedicated to his grandmother, I think. So that was kind of cool. You know, you got a EC book here. Not an EC, but this kind of makes me feel like old EC comics, like that's a Jack Davis cover. It's almost what it reminds me of, that old lady on it. Now I've heard a lot of people talking about this book. Apparently this is about vampires, but not about vampires. It's about the people who the vampires hire to take care of things while they're sleeping during the day. And it's issue 1. I don't think another issue's come out. It seems like this came out over the summer or something, but I saw a lot of videos where people were just like, this was fantastic. Ended up getting Dayman number 1. So what would that come to? It's probably like $1.75 or something. That's still, you know, more than I usually pay. You know, but 6 books, you know, $10. All right. And then at the used bookstore, I found this, a hardback of Winter World. Couldn't believe I found this. Constant Bromstar, the man, the myth, the legend, swears by this book. We've done Finally Designed podcast where we talk post-apocalyptic comics, and this, this and Commandy were pretty much his favorite reads. It's by Chuck Dixon, and it's by some South American artist who is just fantastic. And Constant Bromstar pointed out that this was like a 3-issue miniseries back in the 80s, and then they re-released it through IDW decades later, and it's got a whole nother unreleased miniseries in it, which I think is 3 or 4 issues. But the art in this is just gritty, and the whole world apparently is set in like a nuclear winter, or it's just a winter or something, and it's a survival of it. These characters, he runs around with a badger. I think that's what it is, which is always cool. But yeah, I read probably the first issue in this, first chapter or whatever, man, and it's a good read. It's a good read. If you can see Winter World, check it out and get it. 2 other things I got. I love my Bloom County. And this is the trades of Outland, when Berkeley Breathe kind of changed what he was doing in the Sunday Funnies in the 80s. And basically he ended up, over time, bringing back all the characters from Bloom County into where it pretty much turned back into Bloom County, because there's Opus. And I hate this because they stickered it. This little kid is mooning Opus, and apparently when they sold it, you see the ring there, they had a sticker over it, so I got to get that off there, And here's another one of Outland. And there's Berkeley Breed. That just cracks me up. Alright, got some, and that's more DVDs here. I got Night of the Living Dead, but this is a 90s remake. I got this for 1 cent on eBay. 1 cent. 1 cent. And it's a remake, 90s remake of the Night of the Living Dead, and I figure for a penny, that's about the only way I'm going to check it out. And it looks gruesome. We're fucking with some George Romero stuff from the 60s, but to do a remake, when did this come out? I'm thinking this was like a 98 or something. The DVD was released in 2006, but I'm convinced this was from 98. I remember seeing the commercials for it and stuff, so, before the zombie thing took off again, there's people keeping it alive. And I got this. This usually sells for 12 bucks. I think 10, 12 bucks. But I got the first 4 Friday Nightmare on Elm Street in a collected edition for 6 bucks, and the reason I got it is I'm gonna get my money back. You get online with your receipt, and they'll send you, and you'll print off this thing where we get you $5 in snacks at a participating movie theater. And the next movie I'm gonna go see is The Hobbit Part 2. So why not? And then we got some vinyl records. If you've hung in this far, this says Flashdance, but it's not, because when I pulled the record out, it was something much better than the Flashdance thing. It was Rio Duran Duran. Yeah. And whoever had these, I think it was the same guy that had the cassettes, because these are all in phenomenal shape. They don't have a musty smell. There's not a scratch on them. The records aren't even dusty. These came out of the Goodwill. These were 50 cents a piece. Alright. So I got some collected editions. The Rock album. And this has Don't Burn Me Down, Dirty White Boy. I'm not a big Foreigner fan. Don't Fear the Reaper, Dream Police. I love Cheap Trick. Excuse me. It's got some Styx on there, and I'm ashamed to have a freaking Styx song in my house. Styx, Journey, REO Speedwagon, out the door. Toto, you get a pass for Africa and Roseanne. Like, get the hell out. Anyway. Lovin', Touchin', Squeezin', yes, Styx and Journey. More Than Fillin' by Boston. Yes. Carry On, My Wayward Son. That should be the official theme song to Supernatural. Got me some Stevie Nicks. This is the Wicked album. Stand Back, I'll Run to You, and all that stuff. Never in the day did I think I'd be getting Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks, man. You hit freaking 40, you go back, and you're like a lot more forgiving of the stuff that came out. I don't know if you chill out. I don't know if you have life experience. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden, the stuff you wouldn't listen to, you're just kind of like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. So, little Stevie Nicks. And I've always liked Stevie Nicks. I loved her voice. They're just, And of course, always, 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 Joan Jett and the Blackhearts. This is so cool. This is from 1981. I Love Rock and Roll, Love Is Pain, Crimson and Clover, Bits and Pieces, a little DC-5 there, her remake of them. Then I got Fleetwood Mac Tusk, because I like the song Tusk. It was kind of cool. And this is a double album set, so there's some good stuff on that one. See if it opens up. Nope. And then one of my favorite bands of all time, Queen, The Game. Oh man, yeah. Nothing Bites the Dust, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Don't Cry Suicide, Sail Away Sweet Sister, Sail Across That Sea, If You Find Another Lover, I'll be there just half as much as me. It's not the words, but you get the gist. And if you find another king, I don't want to hear about him. Queen's Greatest Hits. This is just awesome. Nothing Bites the Dust, Bohemian Rhapsody, Crazy Little Thing Called Love, Killer Queen, Fat Bottom Girls, Bicycle Race, Under Pressure, We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, Flash, He'll Save Every One of Us, Someone to Love, You're My Best Friend, Keep Yourself Alive, Play the Game. Yep. Now, I saw some antique shops where I was wanting to get this album, and they were just all beat up and stuff. The guys were wanting 10 to 15 bucks for them in several antique shops. 50 cents, like brand new. I mean, oh man, this thing is just in phenomenal state. Synchronicity by the Police. I was infatuated with the Police. Not liking them. Infatuated might be the right word. I was curious about them because they'd always show the Synchronicity 2 or Synchronicity concert on some channel. I don't know if it was Showtime or whatever, something like that. And I was just infatuated with how people were like huge for him and the big crowds, and this guy named Sting, and he was in this movie Dune, you know, and all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I was a little kid, but this is a great album. Great album. Synchronicity should be in the top 50 greatest albums of all time. Then you had to get this, man. I love most of his songs that I love are not the radio hits. I love Rumble Seat. Okay, Rumble Seat is one of those great songs. Lonely Old Night. Oh man, all this stuff. So when I saw this, you know, John Cougar, American Fool, not John Cougar Mellencamp, not John Mellencamp, John Cougar. All right, Hurt So Good, Jack and Diane. You know, was China Girl. China Girl. Yeah, I'm thinking the Iggy Pop song. Oh, excuse me, the David Bowie song. Iggy just wrote it. You know. Anyway, that's my stuff. I think that's everything. Thanks for hanging in there. You guys be cool.